why are you getting upset? He's a child and he's doing childish things. In his childish mind, it made sense to quit his job to go do paperwork. It made sense to him. Why are you getting upset? You're dealing with a child. Hi, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another review of Love in Paradise, Sex on the Beach. So this episode starts off with Ariana and Sherlon. Ariana is getting ready with her mom and her two sisters to leave for Jamaica. She's excited, but she's also extremely nervous because her family's going to be meeting Sherlon. But it's really important for her family to meet him before her baby arrives because she is about 6 months pregnant at this time. So when they get to Jamaica, instead of meeting like at the airport or meeting at a restaurant or at the hotel, they decide to meet Sherlon on the beach. I don't know if it's because he was working, because he does work on his dad's boat. So I don't know if it's because he was working, but I really didn't understand why they met on the beach. For the first time they meet him on the beach. And it wasn't even like there were beach chairs and cocktails or at a beach bar. It was just them standing on the beach waiting for him to show up or waiting for him to come meet them. So he finally comes to meet them, and he comes walking up the beach to meet them, and he hugs Ariana and meets her family, and it was all quite awkward and strange. And you would think that that Ariana and Sherlon would have given each other these huge hugs, that he would have picked her up and spun her around or spun her around. But it wasn't like, it was so awkward. It was like two strangers meeting again for the first time. It was really awkward. Even her sister noticed how awkward it was. It didn't seem like, two people who were in a relationship about to have a baby. Okay, so then he's excited to see her, and she tells him, "You look good." She tells him, she asks him, "But I look fat, don't I?" That's what she says. She goes, "I look fat, don't I?" And he doesn't respond. He doesn't give her an answer. It's just silence. But in his confessional, he does say that he noticed that she did gain weight, but he said that she gained the weight in all the right places. And the producer asked him, "In what places are those?" And he said, "In her stomach, I guess, because she's pregnant, and in her boobs." So he has no complaints about the way that she looks. And I wish that he would have said something to her, because this girl has a huge complex about her weight. I wish that he would have said something like, "No, you don't look fat, you look pregnant," or, "Yeah, you look like you put on a little weight, but you look really good, you look even better than you did before," or something to that effect. But when she asked him, "Do I look fat?" he didn't say anything. Okay, so then there's a 7 p.m. curfew, so they don't have much time to, get to know each other, the family and Sherlon. So they have to skedaddle. Now, the mother is very worried about this relationship because, they don't know each other very well. And the mother is like, she didn't notice any type of love and affection between them when they first met. The next day, they all go for a boat ride on Sherlon's boat or his dad's boat, because he does do boat work with his dad. So they all go on the boat and they're going to go for a boat ride and they're going to go do some swimming. So they do all of that. And it seems like they're having a really good time until they go past in the far distance, they can see this resort, I guess. And the mother asks Sherlon, "What's that over there?" And Sherlon says, "Oh, that's the resort that I work at." And he does work at a nudist resort. So the conversation turns to his work. And he talks about, all the crazy stuff that he sees at this resort. Everybody walks around naked. They do show us what they can show us of the resort. And of course, there's a lot of blurring. But it looks like, yeah, people are just walking around to nudist resort. Everybody's, butt naked. And so the mother and the sister are asking him, what's it like working there? And, I guess whatever, he likes it. And they're like, "Well, what about the temptation of the women? How do you handle that?" And he says that he handles it pretty well. He says that he can resist the temptation. It's not an issue for him at all, because at his job, the employees are not supposed to commingle with the guests. So you can't do anything with them other than your job, other than to serve them food and towels and so on and so forth. So so he did say that his coworkers though sometimes they can't resist because the women are going to come on to them, and they'll come on to them really really strong. And so they're like, well, what about you when they come on to you really strong? What about you? What do you do? And he's like, look, I don't have an issue with it. I resist it. I have no problem. I can resist it. He says, I'm a grown man, and it's no big deal to me. And so the sisters and the mom, they don't believe him. And I think in one of their confessionals, one of them says, I bet, he'll do something with the guest for the right price. He'll probably do something with the guest for free. Okay. I don't even think you'll have to pay him. And then, so when they're talking about this nudist resort and his job and everything and the temptation, and, it makes Ariana feel some kind of way because I guess, she's so self-conscious now about her body. She even said about herself, she says, I don't even look pregnant. I just look really fat. And she says that, when they talk about the resort and the nudist and all of that, she feels really uncomfortable because she's just thinking about him being around beautiful women with these beautiful bodies. And here she is, I guess she feels like she's not at her best, but you're carrying his child. You're pregnant. You're having a baby. I think that's like the worst time for a woman to feel shame about herself because you're growing life. Your baby's using your body for nutrition and protection and comfort, and you can't be so down on yourself because those negative feelings are gonna they're gonna travel to the baby, and how you are emotionally, I think it does affect the baby at the end of the day. So she's just feeling really bad about herself, and they look at her and they're like, hey, are you okay? And she's like, nope, of course she's not okay. And so she says every time that they talk about his job and, the naked women, it makes her feel very, very, very insecure. And I don't think that Sherlon did enough to comfort her or to make her feel better. In fact, it seemed like, from what I can remember, because sometimes I'm busy writing notes, I don't like look at everything on the TV, but I think that she was kind of like, it seemed like, well, anyways, I was going to say it seemed like she was kind of off to the back of the boat, maybe. And he was like towards the front of the boat. Like he wasn't anywhere near her to like comfort her or anything like that. I don't know. Maybe I didn't see that correctly, but I wish he would have done more to try to make her feel better. But then also their interaction is just so weird and so strange. She didn't meet him at the nudist resort, but obviously she was on vacation when she met him. And I just don't like, I don't know. They just don't have any chemistry. They don't even act like they even know they even know each other. They're very distant with each other. It's just very strange. So moving on to Martine and Steven. So Martine has arrived, like we said, she's already in Barbados. So now we're on day 2 in her trip to Barbados. And they go out now when Martine, they went, they were doing their thing and everything. When she put on her bathing suit, I didn't understand why, what network is this? Is this TLC? I don't know why TLC blurred her butt, because she wasn't wearing a thong. She wasn't wearing a G-string. It wasn't nothing like that. It was like a regular bikini bottom. Like 75% of her butt was covered up. But they felt the need to blur her butt. It's like, you don't think the audience can take, all that juiciness? I don't know. I didn't see anything wrong with her bathing suit, and I didn't think they needed to blur it. So anyways, so the next day they're having mimosas and they're talking, and this is when she brings up her issue with the long distance relationship. And so she tells him that she just can't go on anymore with this long distance relationship. And he's like, so what do you expect to do about it? And she talks about how she wants to be with him every single day. She says, whenever I come to see you here and then when I leave, I feel single when I go back home. And he's like, oh, I don't feel single when you leave. And then she says, and I don't know what you're doing here when I'm back home. And he's like, same. I don't know what you're doing over there. And so she's like, it's been 3 years, so we need to kind of move this along. And she tells him that she wants to be with him every day. She wants him. I think she told him that she wanted to go back to America with him. And he said, but what about my daughter? Don't forget, I have a child here. And Martine gives us a little bit of background. She says that she adores his daughter. They show clips of her and the little girl playing together. So they have a relationship. And so, Barbados and Florida are not that far away from each other. So it wouldn't be anything for him to go back to the island, pick up his daughter, bring her back for visits, if the mother would allow it. But anyways, so she's like, well, She talks about the insecurity that she feels with him being a DJ, the women being all over him. And she said that she basically hints at that if they were engaged, if he were to propose to her and give her some ice on her finger, she would not feel as insecure. And in his confessional, he says, I don't think a ring would cure any of her insecurities. That's really not the solution to the insecurity. And then he also said that the problem that he had with this whole discussion about them living together was that he never knew that that's how she felt. He kind of felt like, where is this coming from? I thought you were okay with how things were. And she says that she was, but now that it's been 3 years, they can't go on like this. She needs something more. So we'll see how that goes. Moving on to not Key, Kay. Because her name is spelled Key. Kay and Mark. So Mark has already arrived in Bocas, and she goes to the airport to meet him, and it's a very beautiful reunion. She takes him back to her apartment. They do what it do at the apartment, and then later on they this was really cute. In his confessional, he said that every time that he's around her, something inside of him tingles, because he just has, major feels for her. And so they go and she says in her confessional that she's so happy for Mark to be there. Of course she is, but she knows that he wants something more, and she doesn't know that if she's ready to be that for him, she knows that he wants her to be a bigger part of his life, and she doesn't know if she's there yet, but she is really happy to see him. And so then they go to this restaurant, and they're sitting there and they're talking, and she tells him that she wants him to learn more Spanish. And, he kind of blows it off. And she says, I'm always the one trying to speak English, and I feel like when I'm speaking English, I sound stupid. So I need him to make more of an effort to learn Spanish, which he should. And so they're talking, and then she tells him, I just want you to know that because she needs to get him caught up. I think it's been 10 years since they've seen each other. And so she says, I need him to understand, how I've changed over the past 10 years and who I am now. It's not who I was back then when we were together. So she starts off by telling him that before her addiction, she was really sweet. She goes, I was a real sweetie before, no, she says, I was a real sweetie when I was on drugs. No, before the drugs. She says, I was a real sweetie before the drugs. And then after her addiction, when she got through her addiction, she said that she became very cold. She said that she put up walls around her, and that she's not the same person. And he's like, it's all good. I still want to be with you. He doesn't care how she is, who she is, what she is. He wants him some Kay. He wants to be with Kay regardless. And he's determined to take her back to the United States. So then we have Amber and Daniel. And I swear to God, people, Amber and Daniel, they're going to work me to death. They're going to work me to death. I can't take it. I really can't take it. And it's Amber more so than Daniel. So Amber arrives in, I think it's Panama. She arrives in Panama, and they meet at the airport, I think, and it's a wonderful reunion, hugs and kisses all around. She did say that before she left, this trip, it didn't feel like a vacation. It felt more like business because they got work to do. They got to take care of the paperwork for the K-1 visa. So this is not fun and games. This trip is to take care of some serious business. So she gets there. They greet each other. It's all wonderful. And, Daniel also said in his confessional before she arrived that it's going to be really hard for him to leave this beautiful paradise that he calls home to go to America. So the next morning, she arrives, and then later on that night they have wine on the beach, and she's so happy to see him. I guess she gets all, whatever, feels all the attraction for him because he is a really good looking young guy, and she feels really good. She got herself this hot boy, and, they do what it do. The next morning, they're having breakfast together on the veranda, and she asked him, so how's work? And she was asking him, are you going to be able to get some days off, to take care of the paperwork for the K1 visa? And he tells her, well, I'm glad you brought that up because actually I'm going to have a whole lot of days off because I quit my job. And she's like, you quit your job? And he says, yeah, because remember you told me that you wanted me to work on the paperwork and you wanted the paperwork to be ready by the time you got here. Well, I can't do that and work because my job won't let me take the necessary days off to go take care of the paperwork because he has to go to the Capitol, and I guess it's a long way from where he lives and it takes up a lot of time to go to and fro. So, and the job wouldn't let him have any days off, so he just quit his job. And so, Amber was like, okay, when I told you to take care of the paperwork, I didn't mean to quit your job. You need to work. You need to take care. You need to pay your bills. You need to pay rent. You need to take care of, get ready for your move to America. You need to go to work. And she's like, but baby, I'm doing what you told me to do. You told me to take care of the paperwork, and that's what I'm trying to do. And so then she asked him the $100,000 question. Well, did you take care of the paperwork? And he's like, no, I haven't gotten around to it yet. So then she's like, you know what? I'm not even hungry. She gets up and she leaves. Why are you getting mad, Amber? Why? Why are you getting mad? Why are you getting upset? He's a child and he's doing childish things. In his childish mind, it made sense to quit his job to go do paperwork. It made sense to him. Why are you getting upset? You're dealing with a child, Amber. A child who practically had no responsibilities before he met you. And also he said something about how he had to, he was living with his mom before he moved to Panama. So he just left his mother's home. I don't think he's been gone from his mom's home that long. So don't get mad, Amber. Just deal with it. You understand that you're dealing with someone who's not on the same maturity level as you because you're 10 years older. So you have like a 10-year head start on the whole maturity game. So instead of getting mad, please, Amber, understand the situation that you're in and what you're dealing with. You're going to have to take baby steps with him. You're going to have to, number one, don't get mad, don't get frustrated because you knew what it was. You wanted a hot, young boy. When you met him, you didn't get all, the feels for him and get all googly-eyed over him because he was so mature and he was so responsible and he really knew how to take care of business. That is not what attracted you to him. You were attracted to him because he was young and he was hot and he was good in bed. That's what attracted you to him. Okay, so remember, that is what attracted you to him. You knew nothing about how mature he was. You knew nothing about how well he took care of business. You knew nothing about how independent he was or how none of that mattered to you when you were getting all hot and moist for him. So now that you want to make him your husband, okay, you want to make him your life partner, okay, now is when you're going to have to exercise all the patience that you can get together. Because if you just deal with him as if he's a child and help him step by step, don't talk to him like he's a child, but if you just deal with him as if he's a child when it comes to the paperwork and the documents and all of this and the K1 visa and getting a job and paying bills, yeah, you're going to have to hold his hand and you're going to have to take it real slow with him. And then you'll feel much better. If you can understand what you're dealing with and how you're going to handle him, you're going to feel so much better and you won't be as angry and as agitated as you've already shown on episode 2. So that is my review of Love in Paradise. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will definitely talk to you later. And if I don't see y'all anytime soon, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your holidays. And yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye.